Today I want to talk about some animal stories. There's some pretty cool animals out there, so I'm going to talk about 5 amazing animal stories. Let's get started. 193 countries that are all a part of the United Nations have all agreed that we need to have stronger rules for wildlife preservation. Now, this is one of the first times that all 193 countries have agreed on one thing to help protect wildlife, to reduce trafficking and poaching of animals. And starting next year, they all have to fill out an annual report on the progress of their protection. 33 lions are now headed back to the wilderness that were all in circus acts. There's a lot of rules and regulations that are changing with animals in the circus. So 33 lions are actually being flown from South America to South Africa. They're actually raising $600,000 to charter a plane that's going to take all these cats and bring them to a wildlife reserve. There's an organization called ADI, Animal Defenders International. Now they were working with police in Peru and Colombia to actually get these animals out of the circus and save them, bring them back to the wilderness. They didn't just save lions, they saved bears, they saved pumas, they saved monkeys, and a few other animals. I think about 90 animals in total were saved. And the 33 lions are actually headed to the big sanctuary in South Africa. In the Cincinnati Zoo, there is a Sumatran Rhinoceros. Now there's only about 100 of these rhinos left in the world. This rhino is actually on a mission to save his species. They're actually going to take him from the Cincinnati Zoo and bring him to Indonesia, where there are 3 rhino ladies waiting for him. This rhino's name is Harapan, and he is only 1,800 pounds. That's the ideal weight to pick up a rhino lady. Make some babies, my friend. Make a lot of babies. Humans have the ability to produce complex sounds with our vocal cords, which is how we developed languages. And there's so many different kinds of languages, and they all sound very different from each other. We all have the same vocal cords, but we can make so many different sounds. Now, there's some animals that have better vocal cords, more impressive voice boxes than humans. There's a bird called the Lyre Bird that actually can mimic sounds to a T. It can produce different sounds like a camera shutter or a chainsaw that sounds exactly like those items. The reason it mimics these sounds is to attract a mate. The male lyre birds actually try and pick up females by showing how impressive their voice box is. Koko the Gorilla has actually been living with humans since she was an infant. She's been living with humans for 40 years. In that time, they've actually taught her sign language. So that's pretty neat. If you know sign language, you can have a conversation with this gorilla. Now, in those 40 years, they've put her through some tests, not like in a laboratory, but just some puzzles and quizzes, and could see how she demonstrated her mental abilities. Recently, they've discovered that she has more control over her vocal cords than originally thought. That means that apes and gorillas might have the capability of language. It's no Planet of the Apes, but it's one small evolutionary step similar to what humans went through 10 million years ago. Bullfighting used to be a very popular sport in Mexico, where there'd be a bullfighter that would kind of taunt the bull until he got exhausted, and then in the end there would be a matador, which actually means killer, who would finish off the bull. But recently, the 3rd state in Mexico has actually banned bullfighting. Almost 100% of people in that state voted to ban bullfighting. This is a great step forward for banning bullfights altogether. And actually, a new nationwide vote said that 73% of Mexicans actually wanted to have it completely banned nationwide. I like this new generation. You guys are all for protecting the animals. The Best Friends Animal Society, based out of Salt Lake City, Utah, and LA, actually has volunteers coming in to snuggle with kittens. That's right, you can actually volunteer to go into one of these facilities and snuggle a kitten. Their facilities are open 24/7. Now they take care of the kittens, they do medical procedures, they give them shots, and visiting the doctor can be scary. Even though as humans, it can be scary. They don't want the kittens to just think that humans are there to give them needles and do procedures. They want them to feel loved and feel protected and cuddled, because that's eventually what the cat is going to do for a lot of its life. I recommend to everyone out there, if you have an animal at home, give your animal a hug right now. If you don't have an animal and you're living with a roommate or your family member, give your family member a hug. If they're not there, just hug yourself.